Good morning.
Here we go.
This morning is the Town Council regular meeting, Wednesday, June 1st, 2022, at 8 a.m. in the Town Hall Rose Room. Can we all stand for the pledge, please? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, on to item number 2, visitors. Are there any visitors that would like to be recognized? Any visitors? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to item number 3, which is the approval of the minutes. We already know you're here, don't worry.
Mom gave her a little nudge. He wanted her to get up
You don't have
and say your name.
to. The approval of the minutes for the May 18th, 2022 meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
One abstain. I
You
wasn't
abstained, you
here.
weren't here?
I wasn't here.
Oh, on vacation again.
That's right.
Item number 4, appointments or reappointments. We do not have any, so we will move on next to item number 5, which is the second recipient for the Morgan Scholarship Awards. The Town Council will present this second award to Catherine Robinson, who's attending today with her mom and dad. So congratulations on this award. Do you want to say anything? You don't have to. We're not going to put you on the clock, so it doesn't matter. So if you
Thank you, guys.
Perfect, that's good, that's all you need to say. So, Town Council just wants to obviously congratulate you on your upcoming graduation and your continuing education as you go forward. So congratulations on this award on behalf of the Town Council. And of course, everybody wants the good thing, which is your check. So we'll give you your check.
Where's she going? What's she studying?
Where are you going to school?
I'm going to High Point University in North Carolina, and then there I will be studying fashion merchandising with a double minor in business and graphic design.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
it.
great.
You want somebody to take a picture of everybody?
Yeah.
Big work. That was fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Good to see you.
Thank you,
You're
Jen.
very welcome.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much, guys.
No problem.
You know, we should talk about upping those scholarships at some point. Was it $250?
Price of inflation. Gotta give her their check. Okay, item number 6.
Book. Yeah.
Here we go again. Okay, so wayfinding signage. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we've had some conversations because the short story will be that the Grove Street sign the town technically doesn't own. That sign was installed and put up by Cedar Island Marina. So Jeff Shapiro is the one who put that sign up, and he actually put his own sign, and then subsequent to all the other people that went on there. So what had happened was he had found out about the changeover of how we wanted to change the signs and what it says on the signs, and obviously he wasn't too happy because nobody notified him of what we were doing. So subsequent conversations, John Allen called Carl and said he wants to meet with Carl again. I was asked to go, so we had a meeting with Carl, John Allen, myself. They've agreed to just end it all and just go back to the original signage, which is keeping the names of all the companies on the signs on Grove and on Commerce. And then on 81, the mock-up that they give us, that they provided to us, where it says Town Center, Shopping Malls, Library, and the more general kind of headings would be at the one that's coming off the exit at 63. So that'll be getting you to the marinas, to the restaurants, to the downtown, and then Commerce and Grove will be, as we originally said, as like. So they'll just be redone. We saw the mock-ups before, and they're agreeable to that now because they just want sort of to get this process moving. So first of all, if anybody has any questions.
Well, no, I have no questions. So Shapiro owns the one on Commerce.
Correct, so what happened was.
On Grove, we own it.
Yes, technically, I guess that's, I mean, because Barbara, so when Jeff put that sign up, Barbara Swan was the CEO.
Yeah.
So he went to her and said he wanted to put up a sign. She said, since it's on a state highway, if you stay 25 feet back, we can permit it here and we'll give you that sign to put up.
Okay.
So the problem would be that if we change that one, but didn't change the other one, and so it just, we're just trying to kind of get this thing moving forward, and just get these signs made.
And the one on 63, that's ours, or the chamber, or, I mean, that's the town of Clinton's, right?
Correct.
And
so
we
that-
are gonna change that a little
That'll
bit to
be,
make it look
right,
nice.
harbor, marina districts, restaurants, it'll be changed as well to what they wanted. So basically coming off the highway, directing people where they need to go, and then seeing the ones on Commerce and Grove, and directing them to where they may want to be.
All right.
All right, anybody else?
I've got a problem with it. And I guess that if there weren't a lawsuit threatened, we wouldn't have done this. It's irritating because, you know, when you go to all these other towns, Westbrook and you name it, you know, it's schools, it's library, that's the future. 30 years is the past. I don't see how taxpayers should pay for somebody's advertisement, and that's what it basically adds up to, an advertisement for those people. That's how I feel
Yeah,
about
no,
it.
that's fine. I mean, you know, I mean,
We're trying to create an image for ourselves. What do we have? What are our amenities? It's not the dentist. I mean, everybody uses this GPS to find these spots now. It's backwards. I'm sorry we're having to do that.
Chris,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Why, so the sign that Shapiro's paid for is technically on state land. That is not 25 feet back, 25 feet
It's
back.
on the state right away.
You say that again?
It's on the state right away.
Right. So how does a permit that the town of Clinton may or may not have given him, because I went back through every document that I could find, I didn't see anything related to a permit there. How could something that far back that's on state land be valid today? I understand that the Shapiros are big taxpayers and supporters of Clinton, and that they put the sign in and they bought and paid for it. But I don't see this as a move forward to identifying the town. I mean, if that sign means that much to them and nobody is willing to usurp that and make it more Clinton-centric than Cedar Island-centric, can't we still do the Commerce Street sign to be more generic without having those specific businesses there? I mean, perhaps leave the Grove Street sign the way it is and make the Commerce Street sign the one that we approved last meeting?
We're ultimately have the decision here. So we can do whatever we want to do. The bottom line is, you know, conformity is a big part of it as well. You know, so
Well, if you're talking about replacing the Grove Street sign with a new lettering and new coloring and all that, or are you?
correct, keeping the sign as is, just updating the sign.
So it would have a level of uniformity if we just made a new Grove Street sign that read the way that it reads now, only it's new, and then do what we want on Commerce Street. We haven't had objections on Commerce Street, and that is a busier intersection, and that visibility, pointing people towards the harbor and the marinas and the restaurants down there, I think would be way better than the little signs that sit there.
What about just taking that Grove Street, just strip it of everything else if he wants to keep Cedar Island on there, keep that, and then do the signs like we said before. Put a Grove Street and a Commerce Street, try to make some compromise with him. If you want to keep your sign, we're taking all the rest of it off. We're taking the dentist off. We're taking all these other things off. Whatever's on there, I'm confused of which sign is which, but whatever else is on there, take it off. Leave the Cedar Island piece on there, and then put the other signs up there like we discussed last meeting.
I can tell everyone on the council, the calls that I've gotten, that the businesses themselves that are on those signs now are very thankful for what's there. And they're thankful for what's there because it does promote their businesses. and their names are there. If things wanted to change for the third time and we want to change things up again, the companies that are on that board should be contacted. They should be contacted because they should have, I mean, whether you like it or you don't like it, I know there's the talk of, well, the town's paying for it. Well, yes, the town's paying for it, but the town then also is in the business of promoting businesses in our town. So then it becomes an issue of, well, who do we put on, who do we take off? And I mean, that was like, this is why from the beginning we tried the process of just doing an as-like sign so that the same people that were on there are going to continue to be on there. Is there ways to change? I mean, we can talk about this ad nauseum forever, about what is the best way to do all this. I think at the beginning we were just trying to do it so that the signs were updated so that they looked better, but yet we can continue to promote the businesses. The businesses that are on those signs I mean, knowing that they were going to come off, weren't very happy. You know, and we can't fall back to the town's been paying for it. Yes, the town's been paying for it, but that's part of what the town does. That's part of what EDC does, is promote businesses in town. So I'm just going to put that out there, that was discussed. If we are going to change something, those businesses need to be told whether you like that idea or not. I feel that business should be contacted and says, on the EDC level, because they are the ones that did it. They are the advisory committee. They came to us and they said, we would like to change it to something different. That they say to that business, this is why we're doing it. We're changing it, and this is why we're doing it. Because then they should have an input on, you know, on kind of how it's done. So I'm just going to put that out there because people have called and expressed their concern about why things are changing, and they weren't notified.
My 2 cents is I like Carol's idea. I like the idea that Shapiro sign, I guess I had them backwards. He's the one on Grove Street, correct? And, okay, fancy it up, make it new. I know what you're saying, Kerry, but I agree with the chair, is that in a way we are trying to promote the businesses down there.
By promoting
Actually,
them.
because their revenue and their taxation is what's supporting us. So I don't have no problem with that, but I agree with Carol that the sign on Commerce Street should match the one like we have at 63 for some uniformity, that it looks nice. We talked about it, I guess, I don't know how many meetings ago. And go ahead with those 2 signs as we had proposed. I sort of like Carol's idea. Leave the Shapiro, we'll fix it up, put new names, but it is what it is. I know what you're saying, Kerry, but
It's just the way things are
I
done
know,
these
but
days.
we
This
have
is-
to try to support
It's how you,
our
but-
businesses.
And I agree, but also what I think is by promoting our town and all the amenities, whether it's a dock or whether it's outdoor dining, whatnot, we are promoting the businesses.
Well, and the other part of
And we're
it,
trying to promote our town first. There's so many businesses, we're not promoting them all.
the other part of it that I mean, I understand Chris's point that the people that are on it, if I owned the business and I was on it and I was getting taken off, I would say, hey, what's going on? But I've also heard from other people that aren't on it that says, why are they on it and why am I not?
And taxpayers are
Thank you.
paying this time.
And so
Yeah.
and that's the problem. We want to promote everyone. I mean, if the sign could be 50, not 50
I think the problem
things
is
down.
there's too many businesses, you run out of room.
Yeah.
And that's why the tight harbor, town dock, restaurants, marinas works.
That promotes
Sport shop.
everybody.
It's fair.
Sport shop,
It's-
see, there you go. Are
it's
you a
fair.
little miffed at the
it's
sport
fair
shop
that
that's
you're
not
not-
there
you're
somewhere?
not picking one over.
I don't think, and again, I'm not disagreeing with any of that. I mean, you know, obviously there's some issues on the Grove Street, you know, signage of what's there. So, I mean, obviously that's got to be addressed. That has been addressed. They are okay kind of with the change over on the sign. You know, so if we're going to do that, I mean, my feeling is that those businesses need to be contacted.
I
And if we're
agree
going to
with you
change the
there.
sign, the EDC needs to go to them and say, listen, here's why we're changing. Because again, if you have a conversation with somebody, it's a lot different. If we had a conversation with anybody on those signs before any of this,
Yes.
we would have known way back when that the sign on Grove Street's got a problem. Because it's technically, you know, being handled by somebody else. So, you know, communication, obviously, transparency, everybody talks about it, but sometimes we lack in doing it. And so that's hugely important that we get out there and talk to them about, hey, this is why we're doing it, and this is why it's important, and let them explain it. EDC made that change. So if they felt it was that important for them to make that change on those signs, then, I mean, we can't speak for them because we weren't at the meetings, but then, you know, contact the business owner and say, hey, listen, this is why we're doing it. And I agree. I mean, listen, there are a lot of businesses. You can't promote them all. We got a business owner right here. His business not on it. You know, so I mean, you know, let's do what we can to kind of, you know, just get it done. Number first and foremost, fix it.
Right.
Because I think everybody's tired of looking at the signs. We need to get it updated. We need to move forward with it. And there's been so many changes as we go through. You know, I just want to, let's move forward and get something done. So if we're comfortable and the council has a consensus that we would like to do that, then we'll have to send an email to John Allen and say, this is what the council discussed. This is what the council feels like would be best for the town. And we would, you know, appreciate the fact of you contacting those business owners to let them know what's going to happen. I think the problem's going to be, I'll just lay it out there, is you're going to have one sign with names and you're going to have one sign without names. So that'll be the next problem.
Is that, so do we need a motion to come to a consensus of what we'd like to see?
I think there's consensus, yeah. I mean,
Well, I'd like to make a motion that we retain the changes that we agreed to at Commerce Street, and that we replace the sign on Grove Street with like-for-like advertisers, but with the new branding that Clinton utilizes.
Yeah, I
that
kind of like
okay?
the logo too. I like
Huh?
the new logo.
Yeah, I do too.
Second.
any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? You're opposing?
Opposed.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Okay.
yeah. I just
Hey,
feel,
that's your-
you know,
And
that's
I'm going to be honest with you.
modern era.
I don't think we're done with it. It's great that we've discussed it. I'm going to be the first one to tell everybody on the council, we're not done with this. Because it's going to be an issue. So let's just see what happens, and then we'll go to, I
Okay.
think we're up to what? Plan Z? So,
Well, I'm getting another pen.
all right.
See,
So we will get an email to John Allen, let him know what was discussed, and then we'll let the games begin. Okay, next on our agenda is line item transfers. We have two of them. So the first one is for our DPW, overage due to extreme weather. So they want to increase overtime snow and ice for $3,348 and take it from salaries part-time, $3,348. Do we have a motion to approve?
so moved.
A second?
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Thank you. And the second one, for the same thing, overage due to extreme weather. They're going to be taking snow plowing and sanding, $7,053.34, and taking it from repairs and maintenance for the same $7,053.34. Motion to approve?
So move.
A second? Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Thank you. Item number 8, council discussion. Well, now that we've talked signs, what are we going to talk about now?
More sign.
No more signs. No more signs. Anybody have anything they'd like to discuss?
I'd like to ask Carl, and I guess I should have done this in the meeting, but Carl, I'd like to talk to you about the ARPA money set aside for the rain gardens and how we should proceed, because I'm going to join the beautification committee on Saturday, and that will be a project I'd like to work with conservation. Do you foresee someone else being hired to put in the rain gardens, or do we put them in ourselves? Just a question, because I wanted to speak with them about it.
It's a matter of what's the most appropriate delivery system. There's money there. The cost estimates were derived from either Yukon or working off of Yukon numbers to come up with something else. If we're hiring a contractor, it has to go out for bid.
It does have to go out for bid.
If we're going to hire a contractor, yeah.
You know, I looked around, I'm not sure that many people do this. Or would anybody do anything for money? I mean,
Yeah, you can do anything.
okay.
Do they have to have a contractor, or can they do it themselves and receive the funding for the materials?
If that's how people want to deliver it. then
Would it
that's-
depend on whether DPW would have the time or the, because
Oh, so it
we're
would-
talking stones and that
Oh.
kind of thing. And another question, Carl, about the bank on the Indian River. It's eroding at the north end. Is there any ARPA money for something like that? Erosion of a river? Or maybe infrastructure?
So there's a second allocation of ARPA monies, which is due to come in. That needs to be appropriated in some fashion. That project was previously cost estimated at $1 million. Notice
Erosion?
rearmoring the wall.
Oh, that.
It also involves private property, so you've got to loop in a private property owner.
Is that the only option, or would it look silly not to because the fire department side did it?
Well, all I've heard is that it needs to look like the other side, so you wouldn't put soil down there and then not armor the wall in some fashion.
And that's $1 million.
That was the cost estimate.
Is that possibly covered in the infrastructure package, maybe? Waterways?
We'd have to see what the funding mix is going to be on that one.
And one more question, can that rain garden go in if we don't work on the erosion first? Just a question.
Yeah, you can put it in.
Okay, all right.
It,
Just wanted,
it slows the speed of water, it reduces the risk of erosion.
Okay.
Doesn't take out all the spots where there's scouring going on, but it deals with some of the runoff coming off the water.
okay. Great, thank you.
Anyone else? Well, let's move along today. It's the signage, that's what happened. The signage took the wind out of everybody. Chairman's report. Okay, so a couple things. The Charter Revision Committee, we have 4 individuals that have submitted names. I think we talked about doing a membership total of 5, so we do need 1 more. So at this point, maybe we can just kind of, once again, maybe get it out to our parties, to people on the streets, just let them know. I know there was an article once before in the paper, a couple people came forth on that. Any suggestions about maybe how we get the message out again, because we obviously want to get to that 5 so that we can get the process going.
What names do you have now?
We have Art Kiever, we have Dolly Mazzetti, we have Minor Vincent, and we have Dolly, Mike Horniak.
Have you talked to the people in the last charter commission? Would that be a way to go?
I
Because
mean, I
they're
think
so
it-
familiar with it anyway.
Yeah, well, I think, the last time it was handled, I mean, again, you want to be able to open it up to new
Yeah.
people. I mean, so, I mean, again, have we spoken to them? No, I don't think anybody's specifically spoken to them.
First of all, you already got one there,
Michael?
Archie Kiefer.
Oh, Art was on the last one.
And, Horniak wasn't on.
Who else?
No, Dolly wasn't.
Dolly was, yeah, the other ones are all new.
So you're looking for one
Who
more
was the
name?
other
We need at least
said?
one more name.
Who was the other Mike?
Horniak,
Mike, Dolly,
Minor Vincent.
Minor.
Archie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Call him
That's what I called him when we were coaching him in football years ago, Archie. Art Kiever is on here. Okay.
So I just wanted to throw it out there so that we're aware of that, so that if you do see people that may be interested, that, put their name, obviously submit the online application so that we have it, so that we can keep moving forward on that.
And doesn't that have to go along party affiliations?
It does not
You've
necessarily.
got to have a screen on party, you've got to have a screen on already appointed officials.
Right.
So there's a couple of screens that you have to run the names.
I know. So,
Okay.
Chris, didn't we agree on 7 people? Or am I remembering incorrectly? I could be. I thought
What's that?
Dennis had just.
7?
I thought Dennis
we
had
did 5
suggested-
because Carl was going to be involved in it,
yeah.
and we knew there'd be some better direction.
You do that, but do noise.
So I think we did 5.
Okay.
I'll check, but yes, I believe it was 5.
Yeah, no, I had
No,
7.
we're
It's
not-
doable, but I think we did agree on 5.
Yeah. All right. So that's out there just so we know.
Okay.
And then also just want to obviously publicly thank again Legion Post, VFW, Miguel Escalera, and Joe Dietrich for everything that they did for that parade on Sunday. It was obviously an outstanding event. People are still talking about how great it was and how well organized it was. So they take a lot of the credit in putting all that together. A lot of people think it's the town, but we just show up. So they do all the hard work in putting it all together. And march. And speaking of marching, I do want to obviously thank everybody who was at the parade is here. So thank everybody that did attend the parade and did march. I think it is extremely important that the town sees that the town council not only works together as a council, but also outside of this, they can engage, they can talk, they can laugh. Dennis made an outstanding point when we were there on Sunday, when we were walking, saying how great it was to be at a parade where everybody was talking, laughing, and having a great time. I guess he's been at parades before where people they would walk, not talk to anybody, that
Everybody
that
just straight line.
So, thank you for that.
Thing. This was a very,
It
I thought it made a great impression.
It does, and it makes a very good impression on the public. So
And you
that
can
they
tell
know.
by the public's reaction.
Right.
They were hollering, hey, there's town council,
Right.
there's town council. It was a very nice day.
And we thank Carol for the push to get us to March.
Carol,
Carol's the March parade event coordinator. But honestly, thank you all, because it is great for the public to see that we can all obviously work together. We all do get along. There's no political affiliations when we're out there. We're doing a great job. So thank you all for
I
that.
agree, yeah.
Next up is the town manager's report.
You have my written report, so just a couple items on that to call your attention to. We have vacancy down in the marina for the town's dockmaster position. I've been going back and forth with harbor management on how we're going to fill that job. So we have a position announcement ready to go, and we'll be soliciting people looking to be replacement part-time dockmasters for the town. We did receive final notice of our National Fish and Wildlife Foundation grant award for the design of a fish ladder that would carry fish inland, ultimately to get to the pond that's next to Big Y, to allow migratory fish to come inland for spawning purposes. It's been a long time in coming, getting the paperwork out of National Fish and Wildlife, but we finally have the green light to go on that project. FEMA, a long time ago, put their hand up and said that they were going to play a role as matchmaker to aid Connecticut municipalities in identifying where funding could be coming to support recovery projects. So I provided a bunch of projects that could be viewed as recovery and fit within the criteria of where FEMA was going. Then it kind of disappeared for a long time. FEMA has now come back out of the woodwork, fulfilling that role as matchmaker. They're putting together tailored guides to every town, giving them a trail of breadcrumbs that could be followed for potential funding sources that could address some of the needs. It was a good opportunity to talk about the projects with them, to get some FEMA staff reaction, because all they had was whatever you submitted by application. I did update our list, because when I initially submitted it, I included doing something at the landfill, but now that we've kind of have a path to resolve that, we can take it out of the basket of things that were submitted to FEMA. So I don't have any clear delineation on dates when they're going to deliver any work products to us. They said there was going to be a webinar at some point in time. There will be these guides at some point in time, but ETA is unknown at this point. Landfill capping, the first part of that is the exploration and the borings to take place. That really drives the final decision-making process on the methodology of go, no-go with putting a top dressing on the old landfill site. The borings should be done sometime next month, and then we would anticipate a lab report that would tell us go, no-go by the end of June. So end of June, beginning of July would be the next decision point to move that project forward. The COG met, lengthy conversation about a number of smaller items that is sort of their usual bread and butter business. But other conversation included a quick regional update on MIRA and how towns might need to respond differently. If your waste goes to Essex, I guess it's in a different viability path than if your waste went to Hartford. Our waste goes to Essex. So there's a lot to unpack, and theoretically an opportunity to work with other municipalities. Instead of 169 towns having their own garbage policy, because the state has no garbage policy, at least we could get a couple of towns together to come up with something. And you can get some more economy of scale with larger volumes. So that's, well, the conversation was at COG. I've had offline conversations with others to see if there's a path forward of collaboration. And then at some point in time, the affordable housing plan will have to come back to the town council for its action. There was a committee that was empowered by P&Z, EDC, and the town council to have, to get some information that came in from a consultant, talk about potential implementation steps. This is a state mandated report. So I've been going back and forth with the consulting team, correcting their factual errors, making sure that we have a report that actually makes sense, and then that's got to go to the committee. After the committee comes back to the council for the council to take action on and approve, and then that would be reported up to the state. And last but not least, CRAD is going to be doing its mosquito treatment program. Done this for a few years now. We're treating catch basins to eliminate the risk of the catch basin being a breeding ground for mosquitoes, to help control risk for Eastern equine encephalitis or West Nile virus.
All right.
And that's it.
Questions? All right. Here none, we will move on to Town Council Committee Liaison reports. Anyone have any in their report? No meeting? No meeting? No meeting? No meeting? Excellent. All right. Here none, we'll move on to a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, thank you again, everyone.